Hey guys, and welcome to Knit Grit. In today's video we're going to go over how to make these really cute macarons. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but that's how I've always heard them pronounced. This was a request in my email. I was sent an email and they asked me if I could make a macaron. I couldn't find any patterns that I liked, so I actually made my own, and the pattern will be down in the description down below. So if you need a written pattern for this to go along with the video, that will be down below in the doobly-doo. Pretty much if you have any requests, I try to do stuff that people comment on, so alright, let's get started. For this project you will need white yarn and whatever color you want your macaroon yarn in worsted weight. I'm also using a size D3 or a 3.25 millimeter crochet hook, and I'm using a darning needle as well, and some polyfill. You'll always need some polyfill if you're doing amigurumi. Alright, to start this pattern, you're going to want to create a slip knot. I need my bowl. Ah! There's my bowl. It's my hair that's going to be in a pattern coming up soon. Not that I can actually focus in on that. She's pretty cute, I'm not going to lie. I really like how she turned out. I've been dog sitting, so I haven't been able to upload as much as I want to. I've actually been having multiple instances of dog sitting. Alright, so to make a slip knot, I have a full extensive video which is on my channel, but you could take your active tail, cross it over your tail, you cross it over your active yarn, and then you crisscross pull over. Easy slip knot, and we're going to start out by making what I call a magic ring, in which I chain one and then I chain two. This first chain is going to act as your first, as your magic ring. We're going to go into, skipping the chain that's right next to it, we're going to go into the very first chain that we made, and we're going to single crochet 6 inside that same hole. So that's 2, that's 3, that's 4, that's 5, and that's 6. There you go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You'll notice that the hole is a little bit open right now. We're going to take our tail and we're going to pull it tight, and that closes up that hole, making it completely, like, you don't have to deal with any kind of hole in the center. It's really nice looking. Alright, so now we're going to go back into the first single crochet that we made and put 2 single crochet in each and every one of these stitches. So we're going to go from 6 stitches to 12, and we're going to continue increasing 6 stitches each round until we get to 30 stitches. So I'll show you how I do that. So this one, we're just going to go from 6 to 12. We're going to increase every single stitch. So I'm going to go back into that same stitch and create another stitch right there. And I'm going to get these out of the way actually, because we're going to post a chart and pattern up in this region. So we're going to do 1, 2, and if you are one of those people that need a PDF, there will be a PDF right down the doobly-doo. How many do I have? I need to do 3 more increases. And 8, 9, 10, and 11, 12. That's how I count to make sure that I'm doing the right number. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So now we have 12 stitches on our hook. I always try to pull the tail a little bit as I go. And now, instead of doing it an increase every single stitch, we're going to do it every other. And then the next row is going to be every third, and then every fourth. And then that should be 30 stitches if I remember right. So I'll show you. We're going to actually do 2 of these, so this is how we do our increases on this one. So you can take your tail and use that as your stitch marker if you'd like. I like to use my tail as a stitch marker so I know where to stop. And I will now single crochet 1, increase, single crochet 1, increase all the way until I get to the end again, going from 12 to 18 stitches this time. So 1, and then now I'm increasing, 1, increase, 1, increase, almost there. 1, increase, 1, increase, 1, increase. Here I take my tail out after I'm done with my increase, and then I place my tail where my new start is. So my new start's going to be where that end was, that last increase was. So now we're going to do single crochet 2. We're going from 1, we're increasing, and each of those increases are creating a stitch between us and our next increase, if that makes sense. So we're going to single crochet 1, 2, increase. This is getting us from 18 stitches to 24. 1, 2, increase, 1, 2, and now we're on an increase. It'll be easier once you've made a couple of these to realize where your increases are too if you lose count, because you can see where there's 2 stitches in, but that creates this almost corner on each edge. You should have it almost looks like, it should be almost 6-sided, but not really, because you're making it in the round. But the way that it works out, it just looks like it's got corners until you get go around a couple times. Here's another increase. 1, 2, increase, 1, 2, and our final increase on this one. And now we have one more round, one final round of increasing, and then I'll show you how we go around next. Got too much polyfill everywhere. Okay, so now we single crochet 1, 2, 3, and we increase. This is going from 24 stitches to 30. So 1, 2, 3, and then 4, 5. That's how I do it as I count in my head. 1, 4 and 5 are in the same stitch, obviously. 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Always fun when you gotta pull your yarn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we have one more increase. 1, 2, 3, 3. I can actually get in there. 4, and then our increase stitch 5. We're going to take our tail and pull it through to our new round start. So we just went right through the center of our single crochet there, and we pulled our tail through again. And now we're just going to single crochet once, and once that's done I'll show you how we change over and how we actually start changing this into our macaroon. I actually like how I do this because it's actually mostly seamless. You can kind of tell that there's a seam there, but not if, I mean, only if you're looking really close. One thing I do like about these is I kept on making them and they kept on coming out looking like whoopie pies, and I don't know if that's the Mana in me, but I saw them as whoopie pies and I know that they're not. Like, whoopie pies are way more intense than macaroons. Macaroons are supposed to be light and fluffy, and whoopie pies are not. They are the opposite. So you could easily probably transfer and make this look like a whoopie pie if you used like brown or black yarn, maybe even like yellow if you're gonna do like a vanilla whoopie pie. You could totally do that. Alright, I should probably just be crocheting while I'm talking, but I'll be right back once I go around the entire thing. So I'm not going to put any increases for the entirety of this. This is 30 stitches around, and we're just going to single crochet around until we get back to our tail. And just to let you know, this is actually done in 2 pieces, so there will be some sewing involved, which is why it's important that you have a darning needle. This is actually 2 separate pieces that I sewed together to make it into what I wanted it to look like. All the other ones kept on having all these weird, maybe I'll bring out my weird ones at the end and show you how they kept on coming out strange, and I did not like them. But I like the way that these look, so that's why we're doing it that way. Alright, we're getting close to the end here. 2, 3, and 4, last one, 30. Alright, we have smoothed out our edges. They look nice and smooth here. And now we are going to place our hook. We're no longer using the greenish color yarn. We are going to take our hook and we're going to place it into the very next stitch of our next round. We're going to take some white yarn. Don't worry about the main color yarn. You're not using it anymore, but don't cut it off quite yet. It'll save you yarn in the long run. Just trust me. You're going to create like a 1.5 to 2 inch tail, and you're going to hold here, start pulling it through, and then pull it through your working yarn. That's going to make it so that this, once you tie it in the back, is almost completely seamless. Next, we're going to do something called a back post crochet. So we're going to work through the back loop of our stitch only. Usually with how I crochet with Amigurumi is I'm only going through the front loop like so. Now I don't want to do that. This time I'm going to go through the back loop only, which is going to create this appearance of a line because all of your front stitches, the front part of all your stitches are going to line up and create this ridge that almost makes it look like the stuffing is just kind of being held in by, you know, the dough. So we're going to go through only those, oh wait, I went through the wrong one. There we go. You want to make sure that you're doing the one that's closest, going through the back of the one that's closest. Through there, pull it through, and then we're going to go through each of those, going through only the back loop, creating, as you can see, this nice little line. We're going to keep going all the way around. And it's a little annoying to have it with the main color yarn still attached. Don't worry, it won't be for too much longer. I just split my yarn. I always do that. When is one of my videos not complete if I haven't just split the yarn? We're going to keep going around and around. See the nice ridge that's forming there. We're going to keep going around and around. Getting there. Making sure that you keep 30 stitches on your piece here. Don't skip a piece. This is, the beginning is where it gets really tricky and hard because you'll tend to maybe try to lose a stitch somewhere along the way. Make sure you have 30 single crochet still active. You can count all your little V's right here and make sure that you still have all 30 of them, because this is where things get a little bit tricky. Oh, see, here's where the last stitch is. We're going to pop it right in there. We're going to go into our very first single crochet with our white yarn, and we're going to slip into it and then do a quick little chain. We're going to create a nice long tail. I like to make a good 12-inch long tail for my little guys here for me to sew. And I pull my tail through, and this is the very top part of your macaron. So here I'm going to take, this is why I told you not to cut off this yarn. We're going to take this and we're going to tie it in a double knot. This will bring it all together and make it so that it's nice and tight. Make that nice and tight. And now you can cut it. And I cut them pretty short, like so, because it's going to be on the inside and you won't even notice it. I also tend to take my tail and I cut that as well, just because I know, well, it's still not short enough. It's going to be on the inside, and it doesn't really matter. Alright, now we're going to make the bottom half. Alright, so for the other side, you're essentially going to do the exact same as you did for this side, omitting, so taking away the white round that you did. So we're going to just do the increase to 30 and single crochet around once. We're going to slip stitch off, and I do a little chain to keep it so that it stays. I'm going to cut a nice short tail because it does not need to be long. You are all done with that. I cut my tail already over here, and now we're going to take our white tail over here and we're going to put it into our darning needle, and we're going to match up our two edges here. So I take my two tails and I have them touch, and the way that I do this is I'm going to work through the front loop, so this one little loop right here of the white, and I'm going to work through the back stitch right here. We're essentially doing the same thing where we're making this nice, the front loops will make this nice little ridge like it has over here, so it'll match. So we're going to now go through the front of this stitch right here. We're going to pull that through. We're going to go through the back loop of our other side, and we're going to keep doing that. The tail will eventually just go right in, so don't worry about the tail over there. Pull that through, go through the back, go back and forth all the way around. This is why it's important that you make sure you have the same number of stitches on both. That's why it's important you have 30 stitches on this one and you have 30 stitches on that one. And also don't break your thread. Like, don't send your darning needle through the center of one of your yarns, because that's annoying as all get out. I have a tendency to do these in increments of 5, and then I'll pull my yarn taut or tight. So I like to pull it like that, and then it makes it so that it completely hides what was going on before. So we're going to go through again. I do this until I have only about 5 stitches left, and then I stuff it. Super easy, and I like how this looks, and it's completely seamless if you can get your stitches looking right on the corner edge here. So 3, go through the back loop again, and you can get pretty quick at it. The more even you are with your stitches, the better this is going to look. Making sure you try not to stop too often, because if you stop too often you might end up losing your tension and it might start looking not so great. I've noticed that the faster I can comfortably do this and the more consistent I am with it, the more it looks even, as you know, one would expect. Make sure when you're pulling it, you're not pulling it so tight that you're making it like restrict and that it's like going too tight. Just pull it until it looks like it's hidden, basically. If you pull too tight, then it actually will make it so that the inseam will go and restrict it like a rubber band in the center of it. It almost looks like the tension's just too much. Still got way too much to do here. So the front stitch, back stitch, going from up above and down. Going up into, from the bottom up, and then top down. And so here, pull, pull, pull. I stop as soon as I see that it's done pulling that. You can make a ton of these. It only takes like 20 minutes to make one once you get really good at it, which I like a lot. Quick little projects that are yarn stash busters. That's fun. See, you can already see the shape of it right there. This is actually bothering me, so I'm going to take the tail and I'm going to feed it into the center already. The way that I do that is I'm going to just go underneath this stitch here and then go back underneath it and go down the back and just try to pull it through so that it's stuck. I just don't want it there and I want it gone. So there we go. And you'll notice that you have to kind of work around the short tails, but that's on the inside, so it doesn't super matter. I'm going to put this back on my nice little guy here. There we go. We're going to go through there again. and go through the next stitch. Now we've got to the point where this hole is pretty small, and I like to stuff it from there. I use my tail sometimes for stuffing, because why not? It's less stuffing I have to use overall. It's completely insignificant, but I'm sure it saved me like a little bit of fluff over the years. I don't worry about overstuffing because you want these to be round, so I just try to... I always hate trying to instruct people how to stuff because, like, it's not like a thing that you can really tell somebody. It's just, I always just ball up my centers that I put them in there. I kind of take piece by piece. I roll it so that it's nice and even and round, and then I push it in. And you kind of sew as you go as well, so you'll notice that it's a bit out there. You can close it up a little bit more as you go. Try to make it as consistent as you can as it looked before, because that's where your issues are going to start popping up, as if you lose your consistency that you had before. And try to pull it tight. See, but not too tight because then it'll create this weird loop. Let's see, there's still so much space in there that I can still put stuff in. I'm gonna just do this where I'm gonna take the rest of my fluff and we're gonna see what that does. That actually should do it. You always squish as you go around too. This really would make the perfect whoopie pie as well. It's a cute little representation of it. And you'll find that the more you stuff, the harder it's gonna be to sew because you've got all this fluff just hanging out. That's as stuffed as I want it to be. So I'm going to now take it and close it up. Now that I'm getting to the end again, I'm going to pull them tight, make sure that they're tight the entire time as I'm going. There we go. And now I should only have one up above here left. And then I have one down here, the last one where I had it right there. Pull it nice and tight, and then I feed it through the center and feed it through the other side. So that's where I will pull that. Pull it a little bit more taut. The edging is not too bad. And now I've got a nice, cute little mint green macaroon. And that's really all there is to that pattern. It's a really easy thing to do when you do the knitting. It's nice and even on top, and it matches the bottom. You don't have to do any kind of decreasing. I'm sure there's another way that you could do this where you did decreasing, but let me go see if I can find those other weird warped ones that I kept on making. Okay, so I'm going to put these over here. This is one that I tried doing where I attempted to just make a center for it and then sew both sides across the center. It did not go well, and it looks way too big. This is way too big. And then this one's more similar to what... No, that is the one I made. There we go. No, this is the one that's more similar to what I made over there, but it wasn't quite fluffy enough. And the point of a macaroon is that the cream kind of goes inward a little bit more, and it's fluffy. So, like, these pieces are supposed to be way fluffier, and the inside's supposed to go in, but not so much that, like, it looks like that. And so it really bugged me that I couldn't figure it out. So now this is my version. I like how it turned out. It's cute. These are all the ones that I kept on making and were warped. These were one piece and they just didn't look good. So I'm pretty happy with how these turned out. And before we go, I'd like to give a shout out to my Patreon supporters. I'm excited about our Patreon. If you're interested in supporting us, we are on www.patreon.com/knit. How crazy is it that I was the first one that got knit as the Patreon URL? I was pretty excited about that. We offer our Patreon supporters there free patterns, early access tutorials, and some other things as well. Thanks again for watching, and be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the little bell before you leave if you want to see more videos like this. Until next time, guys. Bye!